This is the current setup. I read a lot of books in January. This is the season for just anxiety and unnecessary stress. If it looks like I've been crying, it's because I did just have a mental breakdown talking about my taxes. This is the Swiftly Tech long sleeve 2.0 race length. Good morning, guys. What is up? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here, my name is Hannah. If you're not new, welcome back. Ignore the creepy dark closet. I'm just now realizing that it looks super eerie in the background of this video. Also, we're in a new space. I kind of introduced the space a little bit in one of the previous vlogs. This is the first day that we're like officially working in the space because Saturday we moved in, Sunday we had a ski day, and then today's Monday, so it's the first day where I feel like we're really like getting settled and like finding our new routine in this new space. It's definitely different than the last Airbnb we were in. It's a little bit more homey, so I'm like trying to find all the good vlogging spots because obviously it's not as bright. I mean, there's a ton of windows in this space, but it's a little bit darker features, darker walls, so bear with me as I try to find some of my favorite vlogging spots. But this will definitely be one of them because this is my work setup, my work situation. There isn't a dedicated workspace like we had in our last Airbnb. In the last Airbnb, there was a literal desk in the bedroom and then there was a huge countertop. So John had the desk in the bedroom and then I had the countertop, whereas now I'm literally working off of our bedroom dresser. Let me show you guys. This is the current setup. And honestly, I kind of like it. I mean, we'll see how I feel about it after today, tomorrow, this week, basically. But I have a bar stool pull up to the dresser and I kind of like it because I feel like when I don't want to sit, it's perfect height to pull the chair back and stand and work. So I can use it kind of as like a little standing desk. Maybe that'll get me off of my butt throughout the day, which is definitely needed. And also we can vlog from this angle from the windowsill when I'm standing up. So that's my work setup this morning. We'll see how we like it. I don't know if it's going to be like a pain in the butt to work here, but we're literally only working with 2 rooms, the kitchen and then this room. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe we'll switch off back and forth. We'll see. So I just wanted to intro this vlog and say good morning. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Hannah. I'm currently in Denver for a who knows how long period of time. We're kind of long-term Airbnb hopping. If you've been around on the channel for a while, you already know the drill. I figured I would just vlog a few days of my life, getting into routine here, you know, exploring the neighborhood. We have a few things that we want to do this week, so we'll see what we get up to. At some point today, I also need to put away all these clothes. We had to go buy hangers because the apartment that we're in didn't really have a ton of hangers. They provided a few, but like it was only enough for John's stuff. My stuff didn't have hangers, so we went and bought like $5 hangers from Walmart yesterday. So I need to at some point do this, and then another thing I need to figure out is like this bag is full of all my electronics and my backpack is full of all my electronics. And I'm kind of honestly just tempted to keep them in the bags, but it just feels like a lot of clutter. So I need to at some point figure out what to do with this today, see if we can maybe come up with a better situation. But I feel like the number one priority is obviously work, and then also this, just to clear off the bed a little bit. Looks like I haven't moved all day. I promise I have. I hung up those clothes while I had some downtime from work, and then I made breakfast, and simultaneously while I was making breakfast I made a little banana bread. I'll have to show you guys that in a minute because it's so good. I was also watching the 2025 Grammys in the background like while doing things. I don't really ever watch award shows. Like, it's not my favorite TV to watch, mainly because I am up to date on pop culture. I would say I'm more up to date on music than I am like movies or TV shows. Like the Oscars are kind of hard for me to pay attention to and things of that sort. But I was seeing like a bunch of clips of the Grammys on TikTok when I woke up this morning. So I figured I might as well just like put it on the background and rewatch it, even though I kind of already knew like what was gonna happen. I don't really like care, to be honest, like who wins on these award shows. I think it's like really surprising that this is the first time Beyonce has ever won Album of the Year. I think she's been nominated like several times for Album of the Year, but she's never won it, and this is the first year she won it, so obviously like that's huge. That was like my really only takeaway from the entire Grammys award show, was that I was surprised that that was like her first time winning that, because she's obviously such like an icon and a huge artist that you would have thought that she would have won it in years past, but I guess not. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me, but I was trying to Google it and I didn't see any other years that she had won it, so I just came to the conclusion that this is the first time. I wanted to sit down with you guys and talk about my January book reads, because I read a lot of books in January. I read 7 books, and if you guys follow me on Instagram, you probably would have already seen the books that I read this month and what I rated them, because I've started posting like a recap of my reading months on Instagram. I used to do it like as I finished books last year. That was kind of like harder to keep up with, so I might as well put up just like a little slide of all the books that I read in January with the reading. So I figured we can walk through them together. First 2 reads of the year were both Zodiac Academy books. The 4th book was Shadow Princess, and then the 5th book was Cursed Fates. I rated Shadow Princess 3 stars, if I'm remembering correctly. This book was a little bit harder for me to get through. It was very long and I feel like it was really repetitive, but I was so invested in the series that I continued on to the 5th book, and I'm really glad I did, because I rated this book 4 stars. Definitely a lot more interesting, and it kind of like put a little pep in my step regarding the series and made me want to continue reading the series. I didn't read any other Zodiac Academy books this month, but if I'm being honest, I keep thinking about the characters in the back of my head. I keep thinking about how I can't wait to get back to the series and like catch up with the characters and like see where they're at and what they're doing. Kind of like a little TV show. That's kind of what the series reminds me of. I feel like I read it as if I'm watching like a fantasy comedy TV show in my head, if that makes sense. So I'm just like really excited to get back to that series eventually, because I miss all the characters. And then the 3rd book that I read this month, and I'm saying read with little quotations because I listened to it on audiobook, and I listened to the graphic audiobook of Fourth Wing. If you guys watched the other vlogs, you know that I talked about this, so it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that I gave it 5 stars. And I personally think that if you're going to do a reread of Fourth Wing, the graphic audio version is the way to do it. And then following that, the 4th book that I read this month was Iron Flame, and I also listened to the graphic audio version of Iron Flame. It was amazing, obviously. Like I said, if you're gonna do a reread of Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, or both, do the graphic audio version, because I feel like it helped me remember a ton of things that happened in the book. I also feel like it helped me pinpoint what I missed the first time that I read the book, because it captured my attention a little bit more. And if you guys aren't familiar with like what graphic audio books are, I don't know if it's like a newer company, but this company called Graphic Audio has started reading fantasy books. There are different voice actors for each of the characters in the books, and there's sound effects and music, and it's like a whole production. It's literally like watching a movie, but without actually watching the movie, like you're just listening to it. And it's honestly like my preferred way to do fantasy rereads now, I think, because it just captured my attention, and it was such a quick and easy way to reread this series. So I loved that. This book that I read this month was Onyx Storm. I feel like this is an obvious one. If I was rereading Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, you guys had to have known what was coming next, especially since the release date for Onyx Storm was in January. I obviously gave this book 5 stars. I absolutely loved this book, and I saw so many conflicting reviews of this book, to be honest, on the internet. I saw people saying that they were really confused while reading it, that they didn't understand what was happening, that the detail was too much, things of that sort. But I also feel like when Iron Flame got released last year, people were saying the opposite. So I feel like you just can't win. If you're Rebecca Yarros, like, you either give people a lot of detail and like what they want and get complaints, or you don't and get complaints. But I personally loved Onyx Storm, and like I said, I really think that Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, like listening to the graphic audio versions, helped jog my memory in order to read Onyx Storm successfully. Like, I wasn't confused because I had just re-listened to both of those books. So maybe that's like a pro tip if you haven't read Onyx Storm yet, or if you want to maybe reread Onyx Storm, try listening to Fourth Wing and Iron Flame first and then read Onyx Storm, because I feel like that helped me a lot when reading it in the first place. Sixth book that I read this month was The Women by Kristen Hanna, and I gave this book 3.5 stars. It wasn't my favorite Kristen Hanna book, I will have to say. Of Kristen Hanna's books, I've read The Great Alone and The Nightingale. I think The Nightingale is my favorite Kristen Hanna book that I've read. That book literally made me sob. Then The Great Alone is the next best Kristen Hanna book that I read, and I would rate this in like the third place for Kristen Hanna books. It was entertaining and interesting as someone that like doesn't really know a lot about history and doesn't really love history. Like, it was never my best subject in school. She has such a way of writing these stories where you're simultaneously entertained but also being educated at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, she just is such a great author, and her writing style is fantastic. If you're not a historical fiction lover like me, I honestly would just recommend picking it up and seeing if it is for you, because I couldn't picture myself reading any other historical fiction authors at this point in time. I've tried to in the past, it's just not for me, but something about Kristen Hanna's writing is like, she's literally the only historical fiction author that I'm able to understand, get through, and like really thoroughly enjoy. And if you're not familiar with The Women, the plot of the book and like the majority of the book, no, not the majority, the entire book, it takes place during the Vietnam War, and it's about a nurse that enlists in the army to go serve her country in Vietnam. And like, that's the first half of the book. And then the second half of the book is basically her time adjusting back to the United States after the war. I think that the first half of the book was a little bit more entertaining for me just because it was a little bit more action-packed, and I obviously like action-packed books. But the second half was very eye-opening and entertaining as well, just in a different way. It was just a little bit slower for me personally. And then the seventh and last book that I read this month, which read again because it was technically an audiobook, was The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. I feel like this one shouldn't be a surprise to anyone because this one really popped off this month. I think that it got released this month, which is maybe why I saw it all over social media, but like, I even saw it from people that I don't normally see like reading updates from. Like, I don't know if they normally read or if maybe they just don't post about what they're reading, but I saw this book literally everywhere from everyone, and I think it lives up to the hype. I ended up giving it 5 stars, and I would recommend the audiobook for this because Mel Robbins, who's the author of the book, actually narrates her own audiobook. And if you're not familiar with Mel Robbins, she's like a self-help motivational speaker. I don't really like actually know what I would categorize her as, but that's what I think of her as. Like, she actually has a podcast that I listen to on occasion. It's kind of like self-help, self-development, self-improvement type podcast, and she tends to have on a ton of guests that dabble in like the mental health field. So she'll have on a ton of psychologists or financial people or things of that sort. She really tries to help her audience with like personal growth as well as financial growth. That's why I'm saying like self-help-esque is like kind of how I would describe her. But she's not like very preachy, and I feel like all of her theories and all of her books and all of the things that I've listened to of what she said, they're actually practical and you're able to apply them to everyday life, especially the Let Them theory. She kind of like deep dives into how to use the Let Them theory in your everyday life and like different areas of your life. And that's why I found it really interesting, is I've listened to her podcast episode on the Let Them theory, and I've seen her on other podcasts talk about the Let Them theory, but this book actually teaches you like how to apply it to different areas of your life, which I really enjoyed. And like I said, she narrates her own book, so it's kind of like listening to her podcast, but like just an 8 to 9 hour version of her podcast, but like in a good way. That's definitely an audiobook that I would go back and re-listen to multiple times, especially if I'm in like a life rut or I just like need a reminder to just let people do their thing. I would definitely go back and listen to this book, especially like certain chapters or certain parts of the book I would just make a note of and go back and listen to it. So those were all the books that I read in the month of January. I don't know if I'm gonna end up reading that many in February, to be honest. I feel like January I just sat on the couch a ton. I obviously had my back injury and I wasn't skiing as much, and it was like super, super cold out. So I feel like it gave me a lot of time to read. That and the fact that I listened to 3 audiobooks, I feel like kind of helped me get my reading numbers up for the month. But overall, it was a great reading month, and we'll have to see what ends up happening in February. I'm thinking that it's going to be a slower reading month but we'll have to see. January surprised me, so February could also surprise me. My camera died, so we're temporarily vlogging on the phone, but this is the banana bread that I made. It looks so good. I don't know how it's gonna turn out though, because I used olive oil instead of canola oil. I recently learned that you can sub canola oil for olive oil 1-for-1. And I think it maybe affects the texture a little bit, but olive oil is just all around like a healthier option than canola oil. We're trying to cut back on the seed oils this year. So I'll let you know how it tastes. But it's the Simple Mills brand. We've used the Simple Mills brand for years. I feel like I've shown me making banana bread and banana muffins on the vlog before. I haven't made them in a while because we didn't have a baking pan at the last apartment. And my mom would make them at home, so I wasn't making them as often. But we finally have a bread pan here, so I figured I'd make banana bread as like a healthy dessert slash snack situation. So I'm excited to try it. But going back to the Simple Mills point, if you've never tried the Simple Mills brand, I would highly recommend. It's so good. I thought it was gonna be warm outside because the weather app says that it's 66 degrees, but it literally feels like 40 degrees. It's so cold, and it's because it's really windy. So honestly, that's kind of a bummer. John and I went for a walk after work, but we only went for like a mile because we were both so cold that we didn't want to be out and about anymore. So now I'm being productive and I'm going to run errands. I actually need to go pick up John's birthday gift for him. One of two. The second one I think that I can get at REI. I'm not entirely sure, but I have to go pick up my skis from there later today anyways because I brought them in yesterday to get tuned. So it's kind of the plan for post-work is to try to be productive. I was going to do this either tomorrow or Wednesday, but I mean, while I have the time, I might as well just like do it. I can't even pick up the skis until 6 p.m. so I need to kill about 2 hours until I can even go pick up the skis. Also, John and I are equally both in bad moods for different reasons, and we're not even like grouchy with each other. We're just like separately cranky because he had some stuff go on today, and then I realized that I messed up my taxes so bad to the point where I have to contact my HR department at work, and I'm a little bit afraid that they're not going to be able to fix my mess up. That's all I'm going to say on the matter, but I'm pretty sure I frustrated my dad with my taxes today. I frustrated myself, and I think that I'm going to end up frustrating HR with the questions that I have coming for them because it's a pretty big mess up. So, love that. 'Tis the season for just anxiety and unnecessary stress, because why can't filing taxes be easier, and like why does it always have to be so complicated? That's what I want to know. So that's why I'm in like a kind of a mood. So I think some separation so that we aren't up each other's butt in that small space will be good. So let's head out, run some errands. I kind of want to give myself like a little beverage while I run errands. Like I might stop by Sprouts and get an Olipop. I don't know if I am going by a Sprouts though. I am going by a Target, so maybe I'll stop by a Target. I gotta go. I need to stop procrastinating. I'm just avoiding the traffic at this point. First stop was Target. I wanted to stop and get an Olipop, but wasn't able to find Olipop, so I just got a Diet Pepsi. I'm probably only gonna drink like half of it. And surprisingly, I was able to find one of John's gifts. I thought I was gonna have to go to Best Buy, but Target for some reason had them, but it wasn't showing that they had them on their website. Like it said that they were out of stock. But I went to the aisle just to check, just in case, because I knew that they were on sale on the website, and they actually had them. So I'm able to cross one of his gifts off my list, which is so nice because now I don't have to go out of my way to go to Best Buy. I put the gift in the Target bag, so it just looks like I went back to Target, but I secured a second and final gift, and now I'm headed home. I also grabbed my skis from REI, so I would say it was a successful trip. Good morning, you guys. Happy Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday, right? I'm so used to starting these vlogs on Tuesdays that Monday feels like Tuesday. But I digress. I just logged on to work for the day, and I took a shower this morning because my hair was so gross, but I didn't want to go to sleep with wet hair last night. So I took a shower this morning, and I feel like it's drying kind of weird. I feel like I have some like in-between hairstyle where it's like kind of curly but also kind of straight. I don't know. I slept really well last night for like the first time in weeks, and I think it's because when we made dinner last night, we turned off the air and opened up all the windows so the apartment cooled down a little bit. So when I went to sleep last night, it was actually chilly, and I feel like I sleep like a rock when I'm cold because the comforter just feels like a little bit more comfortable and I'm not sweating. Like I cannot sleep when I'm hot. But thankfully, I feel like the apartment was like pretty cool last night, and I feel like that contributed to to the sleeping situation. So honestly, we might have to do that moving forward. Just like turn off the air at night and sleep with the windows open because it felt so good. And granted, it is a little bit chilly in the apartment now because we like had the windows open and the air down, but I just feel like it's worth it. It'll heat up throughout the day. So I'm feeling refreshed this morning. I'm going into the work day with hope that they can fix my tax mess up. I've been emailing with my HR department and they're like raising it to our tax department. So I'm not gonna panic until someone tells me to panic, but I do feel like I'm gonna have to hire like an actual accountant this year to help with my tax situation because I don't want to get into it like I said last night, but like I severely messed up my taxes this year, so that's super fun. But other than that, it's gonna be a chill work day. I have one meeting, it's in 10 minutes, and then I don't have any more meetings for the rest of the day, which is really nice. So it's gonna be a chill work day, which we love, and I don't know what else we're gonna get up to. It's a little bit chillier today, like colder than yesterday, which yesterday was pretty chilly too, but it's like actually like temperature wise colder than yesterday. So I don't know, maybe we'll get up to a walk or something, run some errands. We shall see, but I just wanted to say good morning and happy Tuesday. It's kind of the update. This is what we've been up to today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's vlog. Let's see if this is just as awful as it was yesterday.
So, let's talk about this thing, shall we?
I just took my lunch break and ran to Sprouts. I had to pick up some lunch for John because he didn't have anything to eat and I wanted an Olipop anyways. So I made my way to Sprouts and picked up a root beer Olipop. I wanted the freaking vintage cola one, but I can't find that one anywhere lately. I think the only place that I've been able to find it is Whole Foods, and we're not really super close to Whole Foods anymore, which is very annoying. So we're going with root beer. I spent the majority of the afternoon working out in the living room because John had to take a call in the bedroom, and it was just easier because I also wanted to make lunch and he wanted a place to shut the door. So we swapped places, but now I'm back in my workspace. It also doubles as the bedroom, and I have about like an hour and a half of the workday left. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do after work. It's so gloomy outside, like the sun is simply not out. So I was trying to convince John to go to the gym with me, but I don't think he wants to go to the gym. So I might go for a walk outside. It's not as windy today, and then do a quick form workout is what I'm thinking. I just haven't figured out where the best place is to do a form workout because we don't have that big living room space like we had at the other apartment. The only space that we have is in front of the TV here, which really isn't that big. So it's a little bit annoying, to be honest, because I was in a good routine with the form workouts. Now I feel like I kind of have to change up the routine a little bit, but it's okay. We'll make do with what we have. It's actually a 4-day work week for me this weekend because John and I are headed somewhere fun this weekend. You guys will have to stay tuned for the packing and the travel vlog, but we're headed somewhere that neither of us have ever been before to go skiing, so I'm so excited about that. And I honestly am just excited that like I kind of get a short work week. It's just something to look forward to, you know? I just wrapped up with work for the day, and I'm just kind of cleaning up the workspace that doubles as our bedroom dresser so it doesn't feel as chaotic and crazy. And I think I'm gonna go for a walk outside. It's kind of gloomy out, like very doom and gloom vibes, but it's not as windy as it was yesterday, so I think it'll be a little bit bearable as long as I have on some layers. But I just want to get some exercise in. I feel kind of gross. Like I said, I would have loved to do like a workout class or something of the sort today, but just didn't work out that way. I'm also afraid to go to a workout class and get injured right before we go on our trip. So I think I'm gonna go for a walk and then come back and maybe find a space to do a form workout. We'll see. But I'm just gonna take it one at a time and kind of vibe check it at the end of the walk. Good morning, you guys. Happy Wednesday. I'm feeling a little bit out of it this morning. I'm not super tired because we actually went to bed fairly early. I fell asleep at like 9:30 last night and slept pretty well. I only got up one time and it was like around 5 a.m. anyways. So I'm feeling pretty relaxed, just a little bit out of it today, and I'm clearly in like a comfy cozy mood because I'm wearing my entire camo set from Dairy Boys. This is like one of the best sweat set investments that I've ever purchased, I will have to say. I did see that she just came out, or she's releasing a pink camo set, and it's taking everything in me not to get it because I live in this, so I feel like it'd be really fun to have another color, but it's just not in the budget this month to spend $200 on a sweat set. I'm unfortunately gonna have to give it up, but maybe I can find it on Poshmark or something eventually, or she'll release other colors like this in blue. I'm sold. It is a moderately busy work day. I have 5 meetings on the books, but they're spread throughout the day, which is nice. So I kind of have like a break in between each meeting, and I don't really have anything else work-wise other than the meetings. So it's gonna be a pretty meeting heavy day, but like a moderately busy work day. Anyways, just wanted to pick up the camera, say good morning, happy Wednesday. If it looks like I've been crying, it's because I did just have a mental breakdown talking about my taxes, and I'm gonna try not to cry again because it's literally nothing to cry over. I'm just the type of person that unfortunately cries when I get super frustrated, which is a trait that I hate, but a trait that I cannot help. To be fair, I haven't cried up until this point, but I got on a call with my HR team a little bit ago, and the conversation just basically did not go how I wanted it to go or thought it would go, and now I need to hire a tax professional, which I was already planning on doing, but my HR was essentially just telling me that there's nothing that they can do to help me, and it's just a hot mess. It really is just a hot mess. So out of frustration, I did just have a whole mental breakdown and called my dad and was like, this is the sitch. So anyways, I am running to Lululemon because I want to get a pair of thicker ski tights before we head on our trip this weekend, because I don't have any super thick ones. I have like Lululemon ones, my Align leggings that I wear, but I'm following this girl on social media, Instagram and TikTok, and she posted on her story the other day, granted it was sponsored, but she lives in Utah, so I feel like it's legit, like wool or thicker Lululemon leggings that are specific for skiing, and also a matching top, and I have a gift card from Christmas that I've been meaning to use, so I'm gonna head there now, and then I need to quickly run back because John needs the car. He's going to a last minute work dinner because I guess some of his coworkers or like his execs at his company are in Colorado randomly, and he just got notice of that like a few minutes ago. So I need to quickly run to Lululemon and then come back here to give him the car. I just feel like my whole afternoon not only was disrupted by the tax information, but like now I feel like I need to rush to do my errands, and I'm not having a good second half of the day. If I'm being totally transparent with you guys, I'm not in the best mood. Oh, it's so frustrating. I hate when things are out of my control. Like this wasn't even my fault, and there's nothing that I can personally do to fix the situation, and that's the most frustrating part to me, is when things can't be fixed quickly or by me doing it myself. Like I have to put it in other people's hands and they have to communicate the updates back to me. Like that's the frustrating part. Let's run to Lululemon, get this over with, and come back and have a chill evening, because I think I just need to like lay on the couch and watch TV and have a chill night, because it's been a day. I have been back from Lululemon for a hot minute now, but John was playing Fortnite in the living room, and then I had some much needed couch time. I was watching the latest episode of Love Island. I've been watching it on Daily Motion, which I don't think technically is an illegal website, but I don't think it's necessarily legal. You can watch the episodes of Love Island in real time with the people in the UK, so that you're not 2 days behind or whatever it is that you were in the US. So I was catching up on that. And now I'm getting ready to do a form workout. But before I lose all the lighting, it's already very dark in here. I should have done this when we had sunlight, but there was just a lot going on. I figured I would do a little Lululemon haul of things that I purchased. Of the 2 things that I purchased, I know for sure that I think I'm going to keep this shirt. It's nice going into Lululemon in Colorado because I walked in there with a specific set in mind. I wanted to get Lululemon's base layers for skiing, but I guess you can only purchase them online. Like they don't have them in stores, and we're not exactly at like an apartment that I feel comfortable shipping packages to at the moment. So the good thing about being at Lululemon in Colorado is that I can walk in and be like, I was looking for these, but like what would you suggest as a base layer? Because literally everyone either skis or snowboards here. So I was working with an associate that like also skis, and she told me that what she wears when she skis and what she uses as base layers. So first thing she recommended was this long sleeve top, which is perfect because I've actually been wanting to get some more long sleeve workout tops. This is the Swiftly Tech long sleeve 2.0 race length in a size 8, and it's a little bit more cropped than I think their regular version, but she said this is like literally all she wears when she skis, like underneath her jacket, and if she gets cold she just puts like a sweatshirt or a Lululemon jacket over the top of it. So I'm excited about this. These I'm a little unsure about because I am an Align girl and I really only own Lululemon Aligns. I think I have 3 pairs and they're all black at this point. And I was hoping to get the base layer pants, like I said, because they're supposed to be like really warm, but she said that she skis in Wonder Trains. That's what these are called, Wonder Trains. So I'm gonna try them out. These are the Wonder Train HR tight 25-inch with pockets. And I got the brown pair because I wanted to mix it up. I feel like I have so many pairs of black leggings, but I wanted a brown pair. And I didn't know if this would match. I don't know. I got an opinion from like 3 people in the store and they said that it would match, and also it really doesn't matter because they're base layers and you're not gonna even see them under your ski jacket. So we'll see if these work. I'll give a review. I'm gonna bring them on our trip this weekend and use them for the first time. I think it's gonna be pretty chilly, so we'll have to see. But I'm excited about that. I feel like that was a good use of the gift card that I had. And also Lululemon has all of their spring stuff out, or they're starting to put their spring stuff out. And they have the cutest spring shorts. I want to honestly go back and get a pair. They're like baby light pink and they're just adorable. Like all their spring stuff right now and all their spring colors are stunning. So honestly, I might be making a second trip to Lululemon before we leave Colorado for some new investments, because I don't know if they'll have them at the other stores, but I feel like they'll have them here for a while as long as they don't sell out. Anyways, so that was my Lululemon haul. Like I said, I'm now going to get in a little form workout. I wasn't going to work out, but I honestly am just feeling really gross, and I am going to do a 25-minute, I think it's like a triceps and back workout. It's like Pilates style, so it's not too intense. But I wanted to go ahead and end off the vlog here. I'm going to be filming a packing video tomorrow, and then I'll obviously be filming a travel vlog for our next destination. Like I said, you'll have to stay tuned and subscribe if you want to see where we're going. But I'm so excited about it because neither of us have ever been there, and it's actually been on like my list of states / areas that I wanted to visit in the United States. So I'm very, very excited about it. So you'll have to stay tuned and subscribe if you want in on where we're headed and the whole situation, or follow me on Instagram, because honestly I'll probably post on Instagram before I even get the chance to post on YouTube, because I post on Instagram in real time. So if you're ever curious, follow me on Instagram and TikTok, because those are faster and quicker platforms to upload content on than YouTube, even though I try to make my YouTube videos like pretty up to date and try to pump out content almost as soon as it's filmed, so you're not talking about things that are no longer relevant. I digress. Back to the original point. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok if you guys want like real-time updates of where I'm headed. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to subscribe down below, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the packing / travel vlog. Bye guys.